Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Make yourself known if you are here in the feed, and we are here to review this past weekend's Championship action. And I must make an apology, this normally gets done on Sunday, then I said I'd do it on Monday night, but I just got in last night and wasn't in the right space to do it correctly. So we've waited till tonight when I'm a little bit more with it. Hello, everybody in the feed. Great to see people saying hi. So look, really interesting, classic Championship weekend. This one, some huge results, some turnarounds in form, couple of hat tricks to boot, a firing, and then this ridiculous thing at Bolton today. So loads and loads to do. Thanks for comments on my jumper there, Chris. Good evening to everybody in the feed. Great to see all of you. Some teams carried on as they were. Some teams went the other way for good and for bad. But one team that carried on exactly as they are, we start at the top, is Norwich. Norwich are extraordinary at the moment. It was Boro 0, Norwich 1. All of us, I've been questioning, all of us have been questioning, will Norwich drop off? Is this, is this for real? Well, it's totally for real now. Norwich are the best team in the league now. It seems very clear. No one can keep with them at all. They are now, I haven't got my table up, I'm being naughty here. Well, Hernandez with the only goal, I do know that. It's 7 wins in a row, 9 wins out of 10, exactly the same time as Cardiff did last season. Cardiff won 8 in a row, games 31 to 38. Norwich have won 7 in a row, games 33 to 39. They are 7 points clear now of third position with 7 games to go. Dave says we can still chase Norwich. Yes, you can still chase them, and that's probably a good idea, because if you get anywhere near them, you're going up. Dean says, I still can't believe how well this season is going. Crazy. Good. I agree totally. Norwich could go up the same day as Ipswich go down. That is some up, which is, it's very likely to happen, isn't it? So Norwich, 2 home games coming up now. QPR and Reading. It's just a matter of when now. 81 points. Look at the spacing of the next 3 games as well. They've got early Saturday, then Wednesday, and then Sunday against Wigan. Norwich could have 90 points by, before Easter. They could be on for an absolute haul here, obviously, if this winning streak keeps going. Outstanding from Norwich. Unchanged team now for like the 7th or 8th game in a row. Whoever he puts in. I saw McLean play against Swansea, and I'm like, oh, no, he's not good enough. He'll be out for Lightning. No, Farker sticking with the winning formula, and they just keep on churning it out. So brilliant stuff from Norwich. They're going to be up probably around Easter time. They're just going to knock these home games out. But frankly, they've been knocking everything out of the park. Could see Norwich making it to 100 points. So we are 7 games left. Yep, that's doable. I think, 6 wins and a draw would be 19. And they would do it. That would be insane, wouldn't it? Absolutely insane. Let's talk about Boro. They dropped all the way out of the playoffs. 8th place for them now. 4th straight defeat. 1 point in the last 5. Williams says they won't get 106. Presumably he's a Reading fan. That's the record, isn't it? So in the last 5 games, the Villa-Boro swing, Villa have swung 14 points on Boro and stormed past them, I think. Pulis is a fraud, says Matt. Certainly had a long career. Dean says massive game for Boro tonight. That was the next thing on my running order just over here. But for all Boro's crap form, they play again tonight. And it's not straightforward because they play Bristol City, who we'll talk about in 2 games' time. They're tied on points and goal difference. So Boro win and they are up. Norwich won't win the last games, not sure, 14, 15. Unlikely, yes, I agree. Unlikely the streak will go and go and go. But look, QPR don't have a manager and Reading aren't very good, and Reading's best player is owned by Norwich anyway. So I think they can get the streak up to 9 games at least before they go off to Wigan, and then come on, it's Wigan. They're going to get a lot of points here the way this is going. Harrison says Bristol to beat Boro. Boro are going to be in a big financial mess if they do not go up. Interesting match tonight. Look out for that one. Probably not long after we finish here, that one will get going. In fact, the teams will be out now, won't they? So it's a big day for Norwich, that one, and a very bad day for Boro. But it's the Championship. Win tonight. They are looking good. K41 says Boro will not go up. Who's going to win tonight? I need to look at the teams. I played the fifth on that one. On current form, Boro ain't going to win anything. Look, it'll probably be a low-scoring draw, knowing it'll probably be 1-1 or something like that, which would not be a good result for Derby, but we'll talk about them in a minute. Let's talk about second place Leeds, not second place Sheffield United. They had that Titanic win over Leeds. I did the predictions show going into this weekend. I said the name of the game for Sheffield United now is to better Leeds. Well, they've made a nice start, haven't they? Because they've immediately had a 3-point swing against them. So Leeds, they've been dealt that huge blow, but straight back into second place, 7 to play, and they are 2 points ahead. This is like the most Leeds possible game you can get, basically. So Millwall go in front of a massive crowd. Thompson, wasn't it, with the header? Bamford then misses a penalty. Hernandez, I don't need to talk anymore about Hernandez, they're a ridiculous footballer, equalises. Marshall then scores a penalty to give Millwall the lead again in the second half. Ayling, the right back, heads in the equaliser, and then Hernandez on 83 gives Leeds the winner, which sits nicely in their pantheon of 3-2 wins this season. Andy S says, is there another Hernandez knocking about for Blaze to sign? It looks like everybody needs a Hernandez at the moment. Claudio says, not in the Championship team of the season, Hernandez. Well, he was in my Championship team of the season, but I don't want to talk about that because I've never had so much vitriol on one video in my life. So check that out elsewhere on the channel. He definitely was in my team. Anyway, we're talking Leeds. They're in the box seat, but it's a really interesting 3-game week coming up. Yeah, I know you do, Claudio. Yeah, he should have been in, shouldn't he? So Millwall, Birmingham away. I'm not going to start about my team, Peaky. Don't worry, I've had enough crap about that. Who have they got? Birmingham away, Preston away, and Wednesday at home in this 3-game week league. So they've gone into the box seat, but could it switch back? And we'll talk about Sheffield United's games in a minute, but great stuff from Leeds to get through that one. Millwall 1 point above the relegation line. Goal difference is massively in their favour though. Game in hand, Millwall, but that does not happen until the midweek before the last game of the season, and it's against Bristol City, who may or may not be, that may be a game in hand for them to get either into a playoff spot or close to challenge on the crazy last day that we always get. So by no means a given. William says Millwall have winnable home games to come. Well, the one Millwall will be targeting, 3-game week for Wall, is West Brom at home, Sheffield United away at the end, but QPR at home for Millwall in midweek next week. So that's where Wool will be looking up to pick up their points there. Let's move on to now 3rd place, Sheffield United. Goodness me. Don't want to say they bottled this game, but they bottled this game against Bristol City. It looked like Bristol City played quite well by look of it. Another 3-2, but not what the Blades wanted. Surrendering that advantage now with 7 games to go. Billy Sharp, the brilliant Billy Sharp, 23rd of the season. Vyman equalises. Hogan with his first goal. Remember, Medine still suspended for 1 more game. And in the exact same minute that... so Vyman equalises again. In the exact same minute that Leeds go behind, Leeds go ahead. Vyman sticks in the hat-trick goal. So it completely switches over. And the stats do say that this was not a robbery. 14 shots to 12 in Bristol City's favour, 9 shots on target to 5. But the Blades created 4 big chances in that game to Bristol City's 2. They still could have got the winner. And the Blades' finishing has been amazing this season. So, look, it's really oddly similar, the next 3 games, to Leeds. It's Birmingham and Preston, but the other way around. I think I'd want to play Birmingham first. I think I prefer Leeds fixtures rather than Blades. But then at the end of the week, the Blades have Millwall at home. Leeds have got Sheffield Wednesday, and Sheffield Wednesday could be tricky. They both could come out of this with exactly the same amount of points this week. Medina will be back in midweek. He gives them a different option. They can cross the ball in a little bit earlier with him there. So really interested to see how Sheffield United respond now. Responded to everything this season, but they're up against Mr. Bielsa. It's quite the challenge. Let's see how it pans out. May not be the only switching position we see just yet. I hope it goes to the wire as a neutral. Obviously, if you're a Leeds and Sheffield United fan, you'll want it to be sorted way before the last day of the season. K4 says tough fixtures are Forest at home, Preston and Birmingham away. Leeds have Brentford, Sheffield Wednesday, Villa, Preston and Birmingham to play. Totally agree. Yeah, totally agree. It's going to be really fascinating. Claudio says not to the wire, please. I beg. Hey, Claudio, if it goes to the wire, your last game's against Ipswich, so you're going to be all right, I think. Let's move on and just talk about Bristol City quickly. So peculiar as ever, Bristol City. Looks like they needed that in an international break, because I saw them draw 1-1 at Ashton Gate against Ipswich. They were not good at all, but they were obviously good in this game to go to Bramall Lane and win. Remember, Sheffield United hadn't conceded a goal for 7 games. H asked me that at the end of the show, question that. And again, Bristol City played Boro tonight. Bristol City go 5th if they win tonight, so they're not out of this in the slightest. Vyman joins the hat-trick roll of honour here. Jutkovic, Sharp, Adams, Abraham, Graham, Gale, Sharp again, then Adams again, and Ben Rama, all with hat-tricks, and there may be another one coming before the end of this video. So it's a bit of a bad week for Sheffield United, good week for Bristol City. Let's see what happens next. West Brom 3, Birmingham 2. Matt says, do I see a Lee Johnson streak in the making? Yeah, possibly. Yeah, interesting. West Brom 3, Birmingham 2. I was there. Check out the match review of this one. Birmingham, really good first half. Gardner gives them the lead. Probably could have even gone in 2 up. West Brom strike back immediately after half time. Birmingham throw the good first half away. Set play, and Gale nods that one in. Jutkovic nods Birmingham back in front. Mahoney concedes a penalty and Rodriguez smashes that in. Should have said Gale's 17th goal of the season. Rodriguez 19th of the season. Jake Livermore smashes in the winner on 74. James Shan, 3 wins from 3. The results say that West Brom are in form. 4 points off Sheffield United, 6 off Leeds. My eye test is not seeing it, and I promise I've seen West Brom, I counted up, I've seen West Brom 7 times this season, and they just confuse me. They really do. I don't see a real coherent pattern in the team. I see a lot of really good players, a lot of Premier League quality players, and like they had 3 shots on target in this game. They just, Brunt, bit of quality for a set play, Gale, bit of quality movement, a penalty, and then bit of quality for Livermore. Peaky says West Brom don't have a style of play. They just have good players. They're the complete opposite of Norwich, actually, because Norwich don't have the best players in the league, as my Championship team of the year proved, but Norwich have the best team because they function together. They have good tactics. They've practiced this system. West Brom are like the opposite. They have really good players. And the stupid thing is, if West Brom get to the playoff final, they can go up. Their players could get them through a one-off game. It's the semi-final that might be the issue, because you're coming up against a really good team. Well, we didn't mention Kemar Roof. Stellar Dweller says Roof should be back. I think he's back next game. Yeah, Peaky says same as Norwich under Alex Neil. Totally agree. Totally agree. West Brom, where did we get to? 2 out of 3 away from home in the 3-game week here. But if they score 7 to 9 points, Leeds and Sheffield United score 3 or 4 points. If they have a bad week, win, draw, loss is a bad week at this time of the season. West Brom could be in the conversation for automatics. We all said, it's a 3-horse race. Well, maybe it could be a 3-horse race for second as Norwich kind of streak away into the distance and get first. Who knows? This next 3-game week is going to be fascinating. I just don't think West Brom are on Leeds or Sheffield United's level team-wise, but player-wise, they're on anybody's level. Absolutely anybody's. Caleb says West Brom have a kind run-in. Blues, I felt, were a bit unlucky here. First game since the points penalty for Birmingham. I thought they played really well in the first half, but 5 points off the relegation line. Horrendous couple of games more. Leeds and Sheffield United next for Blues. If they lose those two, it's 7 straight defeats. But I think Ipswich, Rotherham, Wigan, Reading means Blues fans probably needn't worry unduly. Good debate going on in the chat here about West Brom. Honestly, they're only 4 points off. All it takes is for them to have a very lucky game week where they win and the other two lose. And then you're 1 game away. And 1 game away in the Championship, we've seen these ridiculous last days where, remember, as much as we love our players in the Championship, they're not elite players. They really, really not. And we've seen these Championship players go to pieces on the last day of the season with the nerves. So if you're within a game, then you've got a chance. Aston Villa Forever says West Brom aren't good enough tactically for top 2. I agree with that. Let's see if the other teams slip up enough to let them in. Could happen. Let's move on. Villa 2, Blackburn 1. Villa up to 5th now. They're on a roll. Go figure. Do the maths. Grealish comes back 5 games ago. Villa win the next 5 games. Surge up to 5th place. But I reiterate tonight, a winner for either Boro or Bristol City, and they drop back down to 6th. Jacob says Norwich, Leeds and Villa to get promoted. A lot of love for Villa. They're the late team run here, aren't they? Abraham with the open here, 22nd. William says Villa to finish 5th. 22nd of the season. Only 2nd in the last 8 games, interestingly. Biddly Bong. Mings with the 2nd. Mings, I think he might end up signing for Villa if they can sidestep FFP this summer. He's really settled in well there. Bell gets one back to bring it back to 2-1. Villa take the 3 points. Villa coming strong at the right time and they look way more settled. I was at Villa Park to see them go 3-0 down at home to Sheffield United and then obviously get that weird draw at the end of those quick 3 goals. They look so much better now. Steer, Mings and Hauser looks better at the back. Grealish and McGuinness superb together. Aston Villa FC Forever says Mings is an absolute beast. Certainly playing well. And I think moreover about Mings, he can do what Dean Smith is asking him, whereas maybe some of the other defenders that aren't Tuanzebe or Chester, who are both out injured, struggle. Connor, we didn't mention Barry Douglas for Leeds, out for the season now. So Alioski staying left back there. Blackburn, we're talking about the beach in the feed here. Blackburn are making sandcastles, my God. 16th place, 4 points and 8 defeats in the last 10. Dean says Villa Norwich, massive game on the last day. Dean, Norwich will be up by then. Look, they're 7 points clear. At the current rate, if no one improves on them, they'll be up with 2 games to go. So you can call that a Norwich promotion party and Villa hanging Villa home win, I think. And everybody's happy into the playoffs. There, Derby 6, Rotherham 1, goodness me. And to the hat-trick roll of honour, Martin Waghorn goes, one of my favourite players from last season. I miss Martin Waghorn. International break, Mount returns, Derby smash, Rotherham 6-1, goodness me. 3-0 at half-time, Waghorn pen, Bradley Johnson heads in, Waghorn with another second half, Mount with a comeback goal. Wood scores for Rotherham. Saw Wood score 2 in the playoff final in last May. Holmes with another one. Waghorn with a penalty for the hat-trick. He joins the roll of honour there. I don't want to tar Derby with the Grealish narrative here, but let's see how they go because Mount is back in the team. Mount last played in the win over Reading on 19th of January. They've won 2 wins in 9 in that period. and he's come back and they won 6-1. Remember, Grealish coming back and Villa won the first game 4-0. That was against Derby, wasn't it? So let's see the win percentage with and without Mount, and we'll see if there's anything in that. They've certainly got the movement back in the team. It looked so static when I saw them lose at home to Millwall. So yeah, Lawrence back in, Wilson, Mount, Holmes, all around. Johnson and Waghorn, maybe a bit more, not as sprightly as the other four of those, but it looks like they've got their spring back into the team. Derby back into 6th place, but they will not end today in the playoffs because Bristol City and Boro, if they draw, they both go above them, or one of them win, one of them goes above them, the way the goal difference is. So, fixtures look reasonable for the Rams, the next 5, and then big one, Bristol City Derby on the penultimate weekend. That could be a very, very interesting. What's my thoughts on Savage saying he'd rather a club like Leeds in the Premier League than Bournemouth? Well, Robbie Savage, yeah, interesting guy. Leeds are a great club, aren't they? I think a lot of people have got some dislike for Bournemouth because I think there's a narrative that they're plucky little Bournemouth, and they too did FFP, got lucky. They got up, so they were out of the jurisdiction and the punishment. And if I'm a Birmingham fan, they got punished. Bournemouth didn't get punished. Got to the Premier League hundreds of millions. So I think these pundits that don't really know any of the teams that aren't the 20 in the Premier League don't necessarily understand that there was a Russian millionaire giving Ken Wyn-Jones loads of money at the end of the promotion season. They've done really well, Bournemouth, but I can see why the Championship kind of looks on them a little bit like that. Let's talk about Rotherham. Not something. They'll need to look at this one as a one-off. Their goal difference wasn't likely to swing back, so I don't think the extra 5 matters. They need to score more points because they're already 5 or 6 behind anyway. They're still in it though. Rotherham, William says Rotherham's next 3 are winnable. Forest at home could make next week make or break for them. I think all of us kind of rooting for Rotherham a little bit because their spend is so much lower than teams at the bottom there, particularly Reading have a huge spend down there. But there is no relegation battle if Rotherham don't score any points. We all know that. They need to put some points on the board. Someone asked what's happened at Millwall. All I would say has happened at Millwall is, one, they overachieved. They're absolutely brilliant last season. And they've regressed down a bit to level 2. Steve Morrison was pretty much a key player in their team last season, and so was George Saville. Morrison's legs have gone, and Savile's gone off to Boro. And I just think it's caught up with them a little bit. They've been unlucky that they spent the money on Bradshaw and he got injured badly as well. So Harris has just got to do a bit of work to reconfigure that team. I hope Millwall stay up because I like Millwall. That's just a personal thing. Right, Forest 2, Swansea 1. Forest, however much I think Forest are going to drop off, they never ever do. They still just kind of hang in the playoff picture there. Roberts gives Swansea the lead on 76. And then classic Joe Lolly, Martin O'Neill stuff here. 2 headed goals from corners. Murphy and Wagway. So hang on a minute. Mings, Murphy and Waghorn hat-trick in the same week. God, it's fun being an Ipswich fan, isn't it? Forest take the 3 points. Forest 2 points off the playoffs. Still, goodness me. Loads of traffic in the way of Forest. They can't win away. There's 2 teams with game in hand. And I don't know how well Forest are playing, but they're still in it. They're really, really still in it. William says, I reckon Forest will lose at Rotherham. So, I mean, if that's at Rotherham, then it's quite likely to happen because Forest can't win away. But Forest are defying me. And what I would say about Forest is if I'm sitting here saying they're not playing well or consistently home and away and through 90 minutes in games, but they're still picking up the points, what happens if they start playing well? Well, they're just on the edge of the playoffs, so that might push them up closer. We will see. What I will say, the difference between the chase for 6th, 7th, 8th, etc., it's chase for 6th, but that part of the table, is you're going to get a lot more defeats in that. Whereas up the top there, much less defeats. Stephen asking me if I'll sing him a song. Message me on Twitter, Stephen, at Benjamin Bloom. We'll talk about Lambert in a minute, and we'll talk about, everyone wants to talk about QPR. Claudio asked the question everybody asks every week. Yes, Championship content more than ever next year, even if Ipswich go down. We've got plenty of people on the Blue Monday team to cover me if I can't be in two places at one time. Swansea, beach bums on the beach, 5 defeats in the last 6, sandcastles everywhere, sand in their shoes, they're buying ice creams, they're doing all sorts, Swansea. If they finish in the bottom half and have a bad transfer window, Swansea, and everything we know about Swansea's owner says they will have a bad transfer window, and a bad transfer window for Swansea is selling and not replacing with as much quality, then you'd think they could regress further next season. So there's a bit of a worry how summer plays out. Dan James is obviously off, and he did the worst thing possible for Leeds, didn't he? Because he played really well on the telly to tell everyone how good he is. Millwall have conceded the most late goals in the EFL, 15% after 18 minutes. Yeah, so interesting. Someone said on here the other week, really perceptive comment, good teams score late goals, weak teams concede late goals. That is so true. Oh, Needown says, love the data analysis special. Check that one out in the feed with @Blades Analytic. Go and follow @Blades Analytic. I don't know if JLH10 is joking because I just answered that question. Championship content all the way next season. Do not panic, everybody. What if Blades lose to Preston? Who becomes the main threat? Huddersfield and Fulham. We need to start thinking about these guys. I like my trips to Fulham. Huddersfield are down already, aren't they? I don't really follow the Premier League, but I think they're down. Ben says Norwich concede and score late goals. There you go. Best of both worlds. Worst of both worlds. No, sorry, JLH10. The question got asked just before. Thoughts on Monday night football? I don't watch it. I don't have a TV. I object to the TV licence principle. I'm a bit of a hippie, to be honest. Reading 2, Preston 1. Big win for Reading here. And they take... no, don't follow the Premier League at all, William. Big win for Reading. Take 3 points out of Rotherham in the relegation battle. It's key these weeks where one team wins and one loses. That flip really makes a difference, especially at the bottom there, where these teams cannot get 1 point per game. All the bottom 4 below a point per game down there. Maite and Barrow in with the quick-fire goals in the first half. Preston didn't reply until Stockley on the 93rd minute. I love to watch the fish tank, Claudio. I really do. We've had this narrative of Reading a few times this season being done in the underlying statistics, but winning due to good finishing. Looks like they were the better side in this one, though. 4 points on Rotherham and a huge goal difference advantage. So Rotherham can win and draw, and they'll still be behind Reading if they lose their next 2. Interesting. Keep the questions coming. We'll do lots of them at the end. Keep watching, guys. Preston had been in ludicrously good form. 1 defeat, and they're down to 10th. And the next 3 games, Sheffield United, Leeds and West Brom. So Preston, we're going to see whether they've really got what it takes in the next 3 games or whether they're going to be out of it. They could be a few points behind by the end of the week, especially. I don't know what Villa's fixtures are, but that's going to be who you're chasing. Stoke 0, Wednesday 0. Nobody saw that one coming, did they? Hey? Jones v Bruce, 0-0 all over. 6th draw in 10 for Wednesday. 3 points off the playoffs. Could prove a nuisance though for Leeds and Norwich to play. They might be hard to knock over. Those teams might labour to victories in those games. Stoke, 18 draws in the league this season. That must be even more than Rotherham, mustn't it? Yeah, 3 more than Rotherham. 7 in the last 8. 4 0-0s in a row. Jesus Christ, 4 0-0s in a row. But 5 clean sheets in the row. Normally in the Pioneer, George, at Portman Road. It looks a bit unbalanced for Stoke. You always worry when there's no goals at either end. But you always think, if you're a football fan, you always see the positive. What happens if they just start nicking a couple of goals? That's presumably what Jones is aiming for. And if you look at how good Luton are, they are going up. Maybe we need to trust him. Ipswich 0, Hull. How many times a week do I wash my hair? Every other day, JLH10. Although, it looks all right. But it's because I've got this flashlight up here. But, yeah, I think you should do vlogs in the North Stand, mate. I'd get lynched in the North Stand. Honestly, George, I prefer to sit on halfway. If I do a vlog and I make a mistake, I know Ipswich are crap, mate. It's not my fault, is it? if I make a mistake, people kill me in the YouTube comments, and I want to get them out quick enough, so I always set an halfway. Thanks, Jello. So consecutive relegations for Ipswich. Don't say stuff like that. That is the doomsday scenario, isn't it? Dead rubber, but obviously Ipswich lose this one. And Grzycki with goal either side of half time. And just typical Ipswich, really, just less quality than every other team in the division. The metrics in between each penalty box say Ipswich do all right, but then other teams just have much better players. Apparently, Grzycki can finish and Ipswich's forwards can't. Hull's defence can defend, and Ipswich's defence can't. I looked at the XG table. Ipswich 24th in that. People are asking me when Ipswich are going to be relegated. So where are we now? 13 points off. God, if Millwall won their game in hand, Ipswich could be relegated before Easter. So lots of people asking about Lambert. Some interesting comments from Mr. Lambert. The last thing Ipswich need is another shake-up in management. They need a stable building period now. Sheffield United and Norwich have proven that you keep it going over a couple of seasons, and we'll see how it goes. But not good if Lambert does leave. We'll see how that pans out. Where are we going? Wigan 0, Brentford 0. Wigan edging away. That's a net gain for Wigan, isn't it? They've moved another point away from Rotherham, and goal difference is important here. Claudio asked about Pennington, actually. Pennington's been good for Ipswich. He makes some mistakes, but then manages to recover them. I do think Pennington is a Championship defender, though. Where are we going? We're going Wigan-Brentford, aren't we? Yeah, Wigan. Brentford may be on the beach. 2 losses and a defeat. Brentford are good fun when they're on the beach. I'm off to Brentford a couple of times now between now and the end of the season. Be there midweek, next week, won't I, for Ipswich? And I'm going to Brentford Leeds as well. That'd be fun. Loads of questions, keep them coming. I've just got to do QPR Bolton, and then we'll do questions afterwards. QPR 1, Bolton 2. Yeah, these are the 2 crackpot teams today, aren't they? QPR fire Steve McLaren. I worked with a couple of QPR fans, and they seemed to be quite happy about it. So I'm not so sure, actually. I don't really know what QPR expect, given their spend. I know they put in for good money for Hemed and Wells. Freeman's a great player. Lumley, I think the keeper's good as well. But I guess the thing was QPR were 8th on Boxing Day, weren't they? So we shall see how that pans out. Tim Sherwood, favourite. It'd be interesting to see him in a Championship job. So we'll watch this space at QPR. Bolton, great win for them. At least they're giving it a fight, aren't they? So Bolton still 5 points off. They're nearly as good as done. But so much crap this week at Bolton. Goodness me. Players not paid, threatened to go on strike. My God, yeah. Game played behind closed doors, possibly on Saturday. Lee Bowyer wants to talk to QPR. I'm sure a few people want to talk to QPR. West London, nice club. Still paying those FFP fines though, so we shall see. Right, enjoy the Championship while I can. I'll be back next season. Do not worry about that. Whichever person said that. The subscribers demand it. Let's go on to the questions that came in via YouTube. Robin asked, do I think West Brom can challenge for second? They can. It would take a bit of a fall off in this 3-game week. All depends on that. If Leeds and Sheffield United. Matt, send me a picture of your haircut and I'll give you some feedback on yours. At Benjamin Bloom on Twitter. I bet it's not as good as mine. So West Brom could challenge. We shall see. Yes, I'd heard about the Bolton game's not being called off. Nick asked, it's going to be behind closed doors. Am I looking forward to next season in League One? Well, some different grounds, isn't it? So yeah, I guess so. Someone else asking about West Brom second and third. No, I'm not going to watch any Premier League games. I won't be coming to watch Norwich in the Premier League unless Ipswich draw them in the FA Cup, in which case I will be there. Ozzy says no Pablo Hernandez in Team of the Year. Yeah, I agree with that one. If I had to choose who would place first, second and third in the Championship, we need a definite answer. I'll give you a definite answer. Norwich will be first, and Sheffield United and Leeds will be second and third, but I don't know in what order. There you go. Impossible to tell. No one can tell that. Every other day is dedication. You have to with hair like this 11 creature. Right, let's get questions in. Go bald if Ipswich survive. No chance. I love my team, but they're not worth it. Will Millwall stay up? They look like they're the ones if Rotherham are going to catch anyone, but I can see Rotherham staying where they are. They really need to start pushing and getting some wins. We will see. Am I writing off Forest at the moment? Cod King 2001. Yes, I am, because they can't win away, but I'll change my mind on this. Will Lambert leave? Well, he'll leave at some time. You're asking, will he leave soon? If Marcus Evans doesn't give him the money he was promised, then yeah, I think he will, but hopefully it won't come to that. If Ipswich didn't have most of their decent players injured or sold, where would they be now? Somewhere between 24th and 18th, probably. Still down the bottom there. What people need to understand about Ipswich is they had quite a lucky season last season anyway. XG had Ipswich relegated last year in 22nd. And then they sold all their best players, so it was pretty inevitable this season. If no more questions come in, I will plug myself here. If Hurst was in charge, where do you think we'd be sitting in the table at its current time? I don't know, but I think we might have more points. Who knows? But maybe lost the dressing room. Hey, who knows? Should Neil Warnock have an eyebrow transplant? He doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything. Who will win the playoffs, says Sigurd. I would have said third place, but Villa looks strong. West Brom have got good players. And if Derby or Bristol City come strong, could be really good. How good is Kieran Maguire? Kieran Maguire's amazing. Everyone go and follow Kieran Maguire at Price of Football. Manager of the season. Well, manager of the 3 years is... my missus has just messaged saying, can we have pudding? Yes, darling, in a minute. If it was manager of 3 years, it would be Chris Wilder. If it was manager of the last 2 years, it would be Daniel Farker. And if it's manager of the year, it's Bielsa, isn't it? They've all done it over different time periods. All excellent managers, all in different ways. I think, given... I do understand the Chris Wilder thing, given they've come from League One and how much less he's spent than everybody else. How did Pablo not make Team of the Year? Who was in the Team of the Year at left midfield? Or did they do some stupid 4-3-3? I don't know how he didn't make Team of the Year. But it's all a matter of opinion, isn't it? How's Cedric? He's lovely. Bielsa leaves if Leeds not promoted. If you see my Leeds special, he doesn't think that he's going to. He thinks that he's going to stay even if they does. Definite prediction for 3 promoted sides. Norwich and 2 of the others. Bowen's not a left winger, Mr. Cho. Bowen plays down the right. And Bowen did deserve to be in the team, obviously, with his 21 goals, but different side to Mr. Hernandez. Rads has hinted he won't. That's the owner. Interesting. I had Lolly as a special mention in my Team of the Year. Bowen was central midfield, was he? That sums it up, doesn't it? Deary me. Remember with your teams of the season, they've got a balance. Favourite Championship team other than Ipswich? God, any of the ones that have entertained me. Favourite grounds probably Villa, Pookie, Adams and Sharp. Interesting. McCarthy, Hurst or Lambert? Pass, I'll plead the fifth on that. Can I say 2 teams just as a fun guess? Caleb, I can say Leeds or I can say Sheffield United, but no one knows. We don't know what's going to happen this week. We really don't. So there you go. I'll say Leeds because they're 2 points above, but I could change my mind in the next day. No more questions coming in. So I am going to say thank you. I know I'm not Jacksepticeye and he would have about 1 billion on here, but 122 up there watching is fantastic. Really, really appreciate everybody joining in on here. Love all the banter. Player of the season, Pablo Hernandez. Well, he's my favourite player in the league. Anyway, Sheffield United to go up. Right, I'm going to get off. I'm going to say thank you. Follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom. I will be back on... what's the pudding? She might be watching and replying there. if I keep going for another 2 minutes. Will Norwich win the Premier League? I don't think Norwich will win the Premier League, but I will congratulate them wholeheartedly on their promotion. And so we're back on Thursday. And if Ipswich Bolton is behind closed doors, I'll probably meringue roulade. Holy shit. This is going to be amazing, so I'm definitely going to go. I swore then. I get in trouble for swearing, don't I? Everyone's loving pudding more than the vlog, so maybe I'll do stop. Yeah, I might go to Birmingham Leeds if Ipswich Bolton's behind closed doors, so look out for that. Yes, I'm sorry I swore. I'll give a meal for the Millwall fans there. And I will say bye-bye and see you all on Thursday.